Hi, everybody. It's episode 409 of PodQuest.
Hey.
It's Wednesday, June 15th, 2022. I am Chris. With me is Walnut, who sounds just so enthused.
Oh, yeah, I'm totally enthused. I'm the most enthused I've ever been in my life.
You're a fucking liar.
I'm not.
I don't know. We're both probably just tired. It's been a...
Look,
You're bald now?
I'm bald. Today is going to be stream 10 of 32 in a row. Streaming's not hard, but it's draining, and there's a reason people take breaks, and it's getting sometimes it gets to the point that I'm just like, man, I'm tired. So
man, just stream yourself eating like a bowl of cereal and then call it a night.
Nah, no, I'm
like
gonna actually
do a just chatting stream and just kind of talk for an hour.
I will. I'll probably just play Apex, because that's the other things. I'd be doing that anyway.
That's fair.
I'd be gaming anyway. Maybe not tonight, not on a Wednesday night. I'd probably more so be watching something or whatever, but yeah, it's not that big of a...
That's fair. Now, we have a potentially busy show, depending on how deep we get into things. So, let's just jump right into it. Rich, what's on the agenda?
Summer Game Fest, and then other stuff. But literally mostly just Summer Game Fest, because that just happened over the past week or so.
Or, as I've taken to calling it, not E3.
Yeah, E2.
No, so my favorite, I think it's GameSpot that's been doing this. They've been calling it Key 3 for Jeff Keighley. So it's
okay.
KEIGH and then -3.
Yeah.
Because basically Summer Games Fest was all him. Bethesda's, but the Microsoft Bethesda thing was obviously them, but they apparently showed that at the space that they have.
Yeah.
Because they have an actual space in LA where you could it's much smaller than E3, but they have the game set up, Street Fighter, Sonic Frontiers, a bunch of indie games.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's that time of year though, and there were a lot more streams than I realized there were happening until they started happening.
Yeah, and that's I kind of got... I didn't watch a lot of them because I kind of got overwhelmed with how many streams there were and how long they were. Some of them were over an hour and a half. I think Microsoft Bethesda's was an hour and a half.
I think it was actually closer to 2 hours.
Yeah.
They might have been an hour and a half. The Wholesome Games one was about an hour and a half, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
The PC Game Show was 2 hours. That one was kind of obnoxious.
Yeah, and it's very overwhelming with all the information coming out, all the announcements and everything. And it's I'm excited to see some of the things, and then other things which is this is just stupid. One of the things I saw, and I'm not going to get into it yet, we'll go bit by bit or whatever, but there was new information for Hollow Knight Silksong, but we still didn't get a release date.
So.
But we know it's going to be on Game Pass day one, but we don't know when the fuck day one is.
So, that one gets a little tricky, but they did say everything that was shown at the Xbox Bethesda Showcase was releasing in the next 12 months.
Yeah.
So, Silksong should be in the next 12 months.
Should be, but we haven't they never gave us an official date or window for it.
They didn't give an official date on anything at that, but they said at the beginning and the end, the next 12 months. They were only showing things for the next year. So, probably. But I figure let's start, we'll try and go as, chronologically as possible for some of the stuff. My original intent was to actually, run through the lists of games and kind of, note down the things that were worth mentioning. But today and the rest of this week has just been fucking crazy. So I didn't really have time to do that. So we're gonna play a little fast and loose instead.
Just talk about the things you've seen and the things you're interested in.
No, that's what I
go through everything. Just
no, Rich, you misunderstand. That's what I meant. I meant to go through and actually list the things I thought were interesting, but I never had a chance to go back and look through things. So I'm going to be doing that on the fly.
Well, yeah, I mean what I'm trying to say is at this point with how much they showed, just literally what came when thinking about Microsoft Bethesda. What comes to mind?
Well, we're not starting with Microsoft Bethesda. We're starting with Summer Game Fest, because that was last Thursday.
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't watch that because I thought Summer Games Fest was this whole thing and not just a one-day thing. it's like I said, this whole past fucking week has been super overwhelming with information drops and things going on. That it's just like,
So
I don't know what's fucking going on anymore.
So Summer Games Fest was its own thing. That was what was replacing E3, so to speak. That's Jeff Keighley's thing. He had like an hour-ish like live stream, and then there was like I said, like a physical location in LA for like media to go actually get hands-on with stuff.
Yeah.
Similar to the way E3 got at the end there. Microsoft Bethesda wasn't like directly involved with it. Most of these other streams not directly involved with it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't actually remember anything I saw off the top of my head. So I'm just scrolling through the quick list at Summer Game Fest, like, to, like, basically remind myself. So the first thing I see, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredders Revenge. It's coming out, tomorrow? Is it fucking tomorrow? That's tomorrow. That game comes out tomorrow.
Yeah, and the collection should already be out, I think, or should be coming out soon, if not already. That
comes out soon. It's not out yet. But they did show, Casey Jones is definitely playable in that game, and it's going to support a 6-player co-op mode.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, so all 4 turtles, and I don't think they ever confirmed if Splinter was playable, but I know they confirmed Casey Jones and April previously. So yeah, and the wording, I remember this on the trailer. The wording on the trailer was it wasn't totally clear. Not sure if 6-player co-op is online, local, or both. Like if you could have like 2 people local and 4 people online, but it just says online and local multiplayer, and then 6-player co-op mode or something like that.
Yeah.
I think so. They showed some more Marvel's Midnight Suns. They showed Spider-Man. He's going to be in it to start, which is cool. And then they showed Venom, Sabretooth, and Scarlet Witch and Hulk, I want to say, as like villains.
Yeah, they're like controlled by whoever the main villain is in this one.
Yeah, Lilith.
Yeah.
I still think that game looks cool, like conceptually, but they haven't shown us any gameplay yet that I can tell.
No, there hasn't been any gameplay for it yet, but yeah, the concept and the idea behind it, at least, like, you're right. As far as I can tell, no gameplay. But it does look, it looks interesting. It looks like it could have some neat concepts. Honestly, I'll be 100% honest. As much as I do enjoy Spider-Man, I'm kind of a little let down to the fact that Spider-Man is a main key player in this game. Like, I was really hoping they were going to shine spotlight on, like, other lesser players.
So, while that would be cool, you gotta remember, Spider-Man is basically, like, the flagship character for Marvel. Like, on all platforms. Like he is the most well-known Marvel character. So they're going to, if they can, cram him into fucking everything.
Yeah, but this is a game about you making your own fucking hero. Like, I understand he's flagship, but, like, he is starting to become... Not really starting. He's becoming the Pikachu of Marvel, and I'm getting tired of seeing him.
But you're also coming from somebody that only gets Marvel from multimedia. Like, the Spider-Man books are still regularly the best books Marvel puts out. Like, there are still plenty of other very good Marvel books, but Spider-Man is generally always a good book.
But to my point, how many Spider-Man books, and by Spider-Man I don't just mean Peter Parker, I mean anything related to Spider-Man, even Spider-Gwen. How many Spider-Man books are there in the comic verse right now?
2. There is a Peter Parker book, and 3, because there's a limited series. There's Amazing Spider-Man with Peter, there's Miles Morales Spider-Man with Miles, and there's a limited series called Savage Spider-Man that is like an alternate thing where Spider-Man is a monster right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. Like, there's no Spider-Gwen books right now. There's no Spider-Woman books right now. There's no other, like, there's no sensational Spider-Mans or Peter Parker Spider-Mans.
Yeah, it's just, like, for non-Sony owners, because they haven't gotten the Naughty Dog Spider-Man game. Like, this will be... Insomniac, yeah, not Naughty Dog, Insomniac. For non-Sony owners, this will be they're probably their first... Spider-Man game or their first Marvel game that starts with Spider-Man. But, like, I think it's, like I said, I enjoy Spider-Man, but, like, you got this thing where you could have Doctor Strange, Blade, fucking, like...
They're all in this game.
Like,
they were revealed in the original announcement.
Yeah, 100%. But the main player, or one of the main players, is Spider-Man. This game is all paranormal. And it's, Spider-Man's gonna be in it, and he gets a special Spider-Man suit to be able to fight demons and shit. And
so you remember this is a strategy game, like an XCOM game, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I know, like, the way that they portrayed it in the trailer is, like, it looks like Spider-Man's gonna be important. Like, he's not going to necessarily be important. He's gonna be as important as you make him be. Because, like, you're going to be making your team, basically, around, like, your created character to control your troops.
Yeah, but Venom is a main villain.
Yeah,
Venom
so is Sabretooth and Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, and Scarlet Witch has always been known, at least people who know Marvel, to be on one side or the other. So it's really, like, she doesn't have a main hero to go against, but we've got Wolverine to go against Sabretooth, and we haven't really had a lot of X-Men spotlight really in a long time, or even any X-Men games.
Yeah, that is true.
Like, I'm just saying, like, we get so much Spider-Man in video gaming. We don't get the other heroes. We don't get the Doctor Stranges. We don't get the Blades. We don't get the X-Men. To make the story, or at least part of the story, revolve around Spider-Man, to me, I'm just like, we don't need it. We don't need it.
See, I'm assuming, especially since they have not shown us any gameplay, I don't think the story's going to revolve around Spider-Man at all. I think that was just a trailer reveal, and he is just going to be a character that you can add to your team. And I imagine, like based on the way, like, XCOM and these strategy games go, like, there's probably going to be a bunch of other characters that they're going to slowly reveal between now and October 7th, when this game is supposed to be released. Mm-hmm. Like, I think we'll actually have, like, a good amount of options.
I hope. Like, I really do. I hope we don't start with Spider-Man. I really do hope we don't start with Spider-Man.
But, I mean, you might start with him, but, like, you might start with, like, 10 characters, and, like, you don't necessarily have to use Spider-Man. He might just be part of the initial roster. Usually
in games like that, the character you start with is a character who's always in your...
I mean, maybe that's how you play it. I fucking get rid of people early on right away.
Like, in Mario vs. Rabbids, you could not take Mario out of your team. It's made by the same team.
But so that's the thing. In this game, because you're creating a character, that's the character that you're not going to be able to remove. Like, you're always going to have your character in the thing. But all the Marvel heroes, I bet, like, you'll be able to pull them in and out. I'm sure throughout the game there'll be those, like, spotlight missions where, like, every single character will have a mission that, like, they have to be on. But I would actually bet money that, like, for the most of the game, you can just kind of, like, make your party however you want as long as your created character is there.
Mm-hmm.
But at least we don't have that much time to wait, though. Like,
yeah.
I don't know about you. Like, aside from the characters in the game, I'm a little concerned that, like, they just haven't shown us anything.
Yeah, they haven't. They haven't given us any gameplay. They haven't really given us any, like, idea of how things are going to go down. They've just given us cinematic trailers, and it doesn't bode well for the game at all. No.
Yeah.
That's a lie. They gave us gameplay.
Was there gameplay in that trailer?
Eric sent unless I'm reading this wrong, Eric sent a trailer, a Game Informer trailer on the 10th to my Discord.
Oh, you know what? I totally missed that, because I don't know.
I missed it too. I haven't watched it. Like, I just opened it up now.
Yeah, I quickly just kind of, like, scrolled through the trailer from, like, the Game Fest stream. And, like, there's stuff that, like, definitely looks like gameplay, but it's not showing... I'm trying to think of the right way to put this. It's not showing us how the game plays, if that makes sense.
No, this is literally a full-on gameplay trailer where apparently you get fucking cards.
I mean, that makes sense. Like, that's dumb, but, like, yeah, no, that tracks. Yeah, so the trailer from the actual stream was just a cinematic story trailer. So
yeah, Game Informer got actual, seemingly hands-on gameplay.
I'll have to watch that later on then. This is very silly. I just want to point this out. We knew this already, but fucking this year's Call of Duty is just Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, but it's not it's a sequel to, like, 2 years ago Modern Warfare, not a remake of Modern Warfare 2. Like, I know I make fun of Call of Duty because it's fucking Call of Duty, but, like, that's getting fucking ridiculous. Like, if y'all are doing that bad at coming up with new concepts, fucking just take a few years off. Like, to not just recycle the concept, but be recycling the names and then recycling the names of the sequels. Like, come the fuck on.
Wait, so it's a sequel to Modern Warfare, which was the remake of the Modern Warfare?
No. So, they remade Modern Warfare, but then they also released a new Modern Warfare. Like a totally new, unique version of Modern Warfare that was not a remake or remaster. And
well,
now
the other Modern Warfare, the Warfare was 10 years old, so you need to modernize the Warfare again.
Yeah, I'm trying to just remember what year that came out.
But while you're looking that up, I did watch a little bit of the trailer for the Ninja Turtles. It is local and online multiplayer, and Splinter is a playable character.
Okay, so
the way the trailer introduces Casey Jones is it has the Turtles, April, and Splinter, and then it moves the screen over a little bit and adds a color and puts Casey Jones in there.
Nice.
So like they all had their own color, and now there's Casey. So there's 7 playable characters with up to 6-player multiplayer, local and online.
And I knew it was local and online, but I think the only thing I wasn't sure is if you can do both. If you can have people playing local with people online, because like sometimes games just don't let you do that. It's one or the other.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't say, it won't say that, but it does say local and online. So maybe, I mean, most of the time, if it's multiplayer and there's local, it does allow. I don't think I've played a game that doesn't allow local and online multiplayer at the same time in maybe 10 plus years.
I think Overcooked, I don't think lets you do both. I think you can do local multiplayer or you can do online multiplayer, but you can't do them like at the same time.
I've never played Overcooked online, so I wouldn't be able to speak for that, but I know like you can do it with Smash, you can do it with or no, you can't do it with Smash, but you can do it with Mario Kart, you can do it with like a lot of the games I've played online you could do it. Like even Borderlands 2 let you do it.
Okay, cool. Look, it's an indie game, so like I'm not going to make assumptions, but like it will be cool for people that want to play that way if it's a possibility. I don't think it's a big deal if it's one or the other. It was just one of those, like, I saw multiple posts online, like, kind of like pondering that. I'm like, oh yeah, I wonder if it would let you play like 3 people local and 3 people online or something like that. Mm-hmm. And just to flash back to Call of Duty, the Modern Warfare reboot was 2019, and now we have a Modern Warfare 2 reboot coming out this year. And it's so fucking stupid.
Now we need Call of Duty Modern Warfare, where you're a war-fighting horse.
No, I mean like that. At least that's original.
Oh, so did you see Goat Simulator 3 was announced?
Yeah, but that wasn't announced at Game Fest.
It was announced at Game Fest.
Was it Game Fest? Why is it on this list?
According to your IGN, it was announced at Game Fest. So the IGN link that you sent for the 2022 showcase for Summer Game Fest.
Oh, I didn't scroll. I didn't scroll all the way down, and I just realized that.
Yeah, so Goat Simulator 3, they skipped 2, which is great.
Oh, that's right. I remember that. That's actually really funny.
And they parody the trailer, pseudo parodies the Dead Island 2 trailer that we never got. We never got Dead Island 2, right?
No.
Right. Yeah, we never got Dead Island 2, but it was supposed to be. And Dead Island 1 was great. I never actually beat it, but it was awesome. But they parodied the Dead Island 2 trailer with the goats running across the boardwalk, and yeah, I just love that they skipped 2 and just went right to 3. That's absolutely Goat Simulator style.
That is very funny. A couple of real quick ones I just want to mention because I thought they looked neat. The One Piece Odyssey game actually looks really good. Mm-hmm. It's way too far into One Piece though. Like I can't play that because it's just going to spoil so much. But it actually looks very cool. Mm-hmm. Where did it go? Fuck. Fort Solace. I don't know if you saw the trailer for this one.
I have not.
I'm trying to think how to explain this. They're like clones, I guess. I believe that's this game. I'm trying to double check, but of course the video like stopped loading. So they showed a trailer at Game Fest, but then they showed another one at the PC Game Show, if this is the game I'm thinking of. And it's like the character is, I don't know whether, not necessarily a clone, may just be like a like alternate versions of the same person, but like they all have like a slightly different look to them. Like one of them has like a top knot sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And it looks like it could be like super interesting, and like graphically it looked really good. Okay. There was something else on this list.
I love how when they talk about Fort Solace, It's Fort Solis stars The Last of Us' Troy Baker and Red Dead Redemption 2's Roger Clark. It should just say Fort Solis stars everything's Troy Baker and Red Dead Redemption 2 Roger Clark.
Yeah, we'll keep him. So in that trailer, I believe that's actually the trailer that Troy Baker like was out to talk about the game.
Okay.
And then because he was. We'll get to this in a second, but when they do the Last of Us stuff, they act like they're about to bring out Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey, or at least that's the way it felt like they were going to do it. And then Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson come out.
Okay.
Because like I think the way like Jeff Keighley was like leading into it was that it had something to do with the HBO series, and so you find out that Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson will be in the HBO series.
Oh, that's sweet.
Apparently as like legitimate characters, not just like quick cameos.
Mm-hmm.
The other game on here that I was trying to remember though, the Callisto Protocol. We saw it at the PlayStation thing last week. It's that like sci-fi horror game, kind of has very Dead Space vibes because it's made by Glenn Schofield.
By the guy who made Dead Space,
like seeing that again and like kind of paying a little bit more attention, it does look pretty cool. Like the environmental stuff where both your player character and enemies can get thrown into like spinning turbines and just get fucking like liquefied by them is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see that one. That comes out like the beginning of December. Do you want to rant about Last of Us real quick?
I just I'm watching this trailer for Metal Hellsinger real quick.
Oh yeah, apparently that game actually looks pretty cool too.
It looks interesting, and it's like a rhythm-based shooter, which is interesting as well. It looks pretty wild. I don't know how much I'd be able to handle doing it, just because even though it's probably got some great music, it's just going to be a little too over the top and annoying, and it looks to be very much Doom-esque and arena shooter-esque,
which
with the rhythm concept. So
yeah, apparently the music is really good.
It got Serge Tankian in it.
Oh, did they actually get him?
I mean, it says Serge Tankian of System of a Down is going to be in there, like, doing a song of some sort.
Well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. But, yeah, so, on, what was it, Thursday when Summer Game Fest was?
Yep.
We got the announcement that they are remaking / remastering The Last of Us Part 1, or the first Last of Us game, titled Last of Us Part 1, for PS5. The story beats and dialogue are all going to be the same, but they're remaking the game. If I remember correctly what I've seen and what I saw people say, that's basically what I'm hearing, is like, oh, they're just redoing it all. Again, this is the second remaster of this game. Because remember, we had a PS4 remaster of Last of Us 1.
Yeah, this is a remake, though.
But it's not. It's not a remake. So, like, this crosses the line of remaster. Because yes, you are remaking the game from the ground up in a sense of a graphical overhaul. And maybe making the combat a little bit smoother. But everything else is the same. So, you are remastering the game.
No, absolutely not.
No, I'm sorry. No, I will die on this hill. Like,
a remaster would be what they did before, where they're taking the exact same assets and up-resing them. This is a remake. They are, other than the dialogue, they are remaking everything in engine from the ground up. Like, they are remaking the game itself from the ground up.
But it's not just every scene is the same. They've said it. It's all gonna be the same.
So if anything were to be changed, like if they were gonna redo any of the story stuff, that would then make this a reboot. It's dumb either way.
It's fucking stupid. This game is less than 10 years old. It already got a remaster. It's already a beautiful fucking game. Like, we don't need this. We don't.
And it's not. And
there's gonna be suckers out there that are gonna fucking buy it because I need the highest fidelity Last of Us game out there. When you've already got fucking 2 really good versions of the game that you don't need to get another one. Like, it's fucking stupid.
It is. You're getting very angry about it, though. Because
it's stupid.
But it doesn't.
Why are
it doesn't
we doing
affect
it?
you, though.
But it's gonna be all, this is fucking Deathloop all over again. It's gonna be all over the news. Oh, Last of Us Part 1! Last of Us Part 1! Last of Us Part 1! It's gonna be shoving it down our throat. We have the fucking, not only do we have the game, the remaster, and now the series, which is, from what we're being told, holding very strongly to the source material and following every bit, which means it's gonna be most likely 90% the same exact fucking story. We're gonna get this game now 4 times in 3 different mediums. Technically, 2 different mediums, but
so
like...
It's supposed to come out this year, so luckily it at least won't be, not even this year, it's supposed to come out September. So at least it's not gonna be part of like you said, like it's not gonna be that Deathloop news cycle where like every month there's going to be like a new thing for it. Like it's basically as soon as the summer's over, the game comes out.
Yeah, but it's like we don't. Why do this?
But
why
so
do this?
keep in mind, like there are people that did not play the PS3 version of the game or the PS4 version of the game. So like there are people that will buy this.
That is available on the PS5.
It absolutely is. I'm not saying it's not, but like people are going to buy this. Like why wouldn't you buy the new version of it if like you haven't played it and you want to try it out?
Why make a new version when you already got an old version? That if people haven't played the old version, what makes you think they're going to play the new version? Because a fucking series is coming out about it. That's why.
No, exactly. Like
it's a stupid fucking marketing ploy that it's just absolutely not needed. It's not like.
But like, again, you are so angry about it, but like it's not for you.
It doesn't matter whether it's for me or not. It's not. I'm not. Look. I am the target audience of this.
You're not, though, because you don't want it.
No, I am the target audience for this. A gamer with a PS5 who has, whether or not they played this game, if this is a mature-rated game, I am the target audience for this.
You're not mature. Come on now.
I'm not mature, but I am old enough to buy mature games, meaning I am... like, this isn't like I'm getting mad at, say, Supergirl on CW for some stupid campy bullshit, because like I'm not the target audience for that, and I can respect that and I can understand that, and I always mention that when I thought something was dumb or silly or stupid, especially with any of the CW shows. I'm like, I do realize I'm not the target audience. These are for teens, these are for this or that. Like, but when it comes to Last of Us Part 1, when it comes to The Last of Us in general, the themes they attack, the beginning of the fucking game, that is honestly teen or higher. But it is an adult game. It is a mature game. I am part of the target audience just as much as you are, just as much as Drew is. And just because I don't want it doesn't mean I'm not the target audience. Their target audience are people like me. And I just think this is the dumbest thing in the world.
That you're not wrong with that mentality. Like, you are in, like, the age and gender and financial demographic for this game, probably. But because you have played the game previously, you are not the person that they are marketing it towards the most. They are marketing it towards the people that, for one reason or another, didn't play it. Because, you know, there are people that didn't own a PS3 or PS4 that have managed to get their hands on a PS5. Like, there's not a lot of them, but, like, that is a thing. And then the other side of it are the people that are obsessed with the game, which you're not. Like, you liked it for what it was, but, like, that's where that ends. There are people, though, that are obsessed with it and do want to own, like, every possible version of it and play it in, like, the most, like kind of like you said before, like, the highest fidelity version they can play.
But, like, we already have that. We have that in the remaster from PS4, where they popped up the frame rate, and they made it smoother and cleaner. Like, I just, this is
but
too
much. Those are still the PS3, assets. These are brand new PS5 assets, man.
Why
the ray tracing? The ray tracing.
So what? So what?
You need to get yourself a new TV so that you can see the ray tracing.
It doesn't matter, though. Like, I don't care about what a thing looks like. If the game is fun, if the game is good, I don't care what it looks like. I love Vampire Survivors. That game is very basic-ass graphics. Like,
I mean, no wonder you don't like The Last of Us. The Vampire Survivors is a terrible fucking game.
Like that's just like, just because it has the highest graphical capabilities doesn't matter if the game is a good game. Like, this is not like Last of Us is not a game that came out in the N64 era, where it definitely needs some sort of graphical overhaul for it to even be really seeable and playable. This is a game that has come out within the past 10 years. It's less than 10 years old, which means we have mostly reached a peak in graphical capability. We can constantly get better by minuscule amounts. Ray tracing makes things look better just because they're a little bit shinier, but graphically, there's not really much we can do without going too far into the fucking uncanny valley and making it too realistic, which is what we're kind of going to go into with this. Yes, you can make Joel and all the hairs on his chin look fantastic, but why do we need it? We don't. This is just them saying we have a TV series coming out on HBO soon. Let's try to capitalize on that more by releasing the same exact storyline that both the original game had as well as the HBO series has, and let's re-release it and remake it, and let's waste people's time in our company rather than try a new fucking series. Maybe get a Last of Us where it's not Ellie and Joel. Like, this is the fucking Star Wars problem all over again. I'm tired of Star Wars because it's all about the Skywalkers. But there's an entire fucking galaxy out there. There's an entire world that's being affected by these pseudo-zombies. Why is it Ellie and Joel? Why is it always them?
I mean, you're not wrong. But at that point, that would just be a whole new game, and that would take, you'd have to bring in somebody to write dialogue. You'd have to bring in voice actors to voice it.
Oh,
come on now.
You mean actually put money into the work that you're doing?
I mean, they did put money into it. Like, they're paying the developers to redevelop the game from the ground up.
Yeah, but there's no new dialogue.
So, I don't remember the dialogue from Last of Us 1. The listening to the same dialogue isn't going to bother me.
But here's the thing. You think they're going to pay Ashley Johnson or Troy Baker again?
Yeah, because they're in the TV show. They're going to get those residuals.
But do you think they're paying them for The Last of Us remake? They already got their dialogue. They already got their lines. You think they're getting paid for this?
No. That's not how that works.
So they're reusing original assets, and they're not paying half the people that worked on this game.
Actually, you know what? That's not true. All that stuff is SAG-AFTRA, I believe. So, they actually may have to get paid for that stuff to be reused like that.
It's just... And then the writers, the original writers, are they going to get paid for it?
Again, if it's unionized, which I believe all the writers and voice actors are, they may actually have to get that.
The thing is, it's just,
Also, the writing for that game was done by Neil Druckmann, who's, the studio creative lead, so...
Yeah. This is fucking Naughty Dog. This is PlayStation. This is Sony. They have money. They can make new shit. Stop giving us the same shit over and over again.
But the same shit sells. New stuff might not sell.
I really hope this doesn't sell. I really do.
It will.
I hope this
both
bombs.
Know it.
Eric's gonna fucking get it. I know it. He got the remaster version and played it immediately when it came out for PS5 or PS4.
A year later.
Less than a year later. He got it, and everyone else got it. And it's just this is the same problem we had when people were complaining about from PS3 to PS4 was there's no new ideas. Everything's just a remake. But this time you're remaking it again, and there's again no new ideas, but everyone's losing their mind about it.
And look, I am mostly playing devil's advocate here. I think you were getting way too angry about it, but I do think it's absolutely stupid. There are way better ways that they could have spent their time and development resources, than remastering this game. It is entirely to do with the HBO show coming out because I think the HBO show is supposed to debut in the fall and this game releases in September. This is entirely to capitalize on the HBO series, which is dumb, but also that's how marketing works. That is what Sony gave them money to do because Sony's all right, well, people are going to watch this show and then they're going to go play this game. So let's make sure that the brand new version of the game is on the shelf. Because they're not printing new copies of The Last of Us remaster for PS4, and they need to make sure that shit is on shelves in stores, so that when somebody goes into Walmart or GameStop, they see it, and it's not just in the online store.
Then maybe Sony should sell game cards again, because they have two systems out there. one of them that doesn't have a disc tray. So you're going to have the people who goes to Walmart and buys the Last of Us Part 1 game card or game disc and gives it to their teenage daughter or grandchild, and they can't play it because they have a discless PS5.
Yeah, no, like I don't disagree with you at all on that.
Or they could have just released game cards for The Last of Us PS4 remaster at $20, and you know what? You would have made more money off. You would probably make more money off that than you would the money that you're going to make off of Last of Us Part 1 remake. Quote remake. Like, it's stupid. It's just so stupid. It pisses me off. I'm tired of remakes. And like we were talking about this earlier, like last week when they had announced the Resident Evil 4 remake. I don't think we need it. We don't. Like,
I disagree there. Like, I'm excited for a Resident Evil 4 remake.
Resident Evil 4 was a perfect game, but at least Resident Evil 4 was like 15 years old or something like that. Like, Resident Evil 4 is at least pretty damn. It's GameCube, so it's even older than that.
It came out in 2005, so it's almost 20 years old.
Yeah, it's almost 20 years old. That more calls for some sort of overhaul and remake. But I personally think that Resident Evil 4 is a perfect game.
And the concept of Resident Evil 4 is perfect. I tried to play it within the last couple of years. It does not handle well. And like, I know like you were saying before we started recording that like you think that's what a survival horror game should be. Like, I disagree. Like, just because it's a survival horror game doesn't mean it should control like shit. It should be difficult and it should be scary. But like, the controls should be responsive and like, not like kind of clunky garbage.
But like, that's also like, I've played Resident Evil 1 remaster within the past 3-4 years.
And like, that one's still hard to get through. Like, it doesn't control well.
It doesn't. And but it's like, that's what I'm used to with Resident Evil. Resident Evil is supposed to be clunky and chunky. And like,
but it's not. It's not supposed to be. That's just your nostalgia for it.
They did a good job with Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3 remasters. They really did. But like, at the same time, there comes a point where those games were made in an era where it was needed, but at a certain point, it's not. And
I think Resident Evil 4 is the last one that needs it.
It's on the line of whether or not it needs it. And that's why, like, I'm not going off the rails as much as I would with The Last of Us, because, like, that is a game that's old enough that needs it. Like, I feel the same with Resident Evil 4 that I do with Bloodborne. It's on that line of whether or not it needs a remaster or a remake or just, like, a better, like, FPS type like upgrade mostly.
Yeah, Bloodborne needs to get ported to PC and needs to have its frame rate unlocked.
Yeah, like that. That's all it needs. We don't need a graphical overhaul Bloodborne or anything like that. No, but we do need a better running and a better optimized version of that. We do need a remaster of that. We do need a pseudo remaster, but not a full on remake of Resident Evil 4. It's just like, but when it comes to like The Last of Us Part 1. And this is the other thing that scares me, because I know it's the original Last of Us, is what they're doing. It's The Last of Us Part 1 is what they're calling it, but it's supposed to be the original Last of Us, the entire game. But is it actually going to be the entire game? Because they just announced it. We haven't known anything about it since prior to now. They kept it hidden under the rug for so long. Well, are we going to get the full game?
Yes,
or is it just...
So they are branding it... Oh, excuse me. They branded it as Part 1 to go with The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah.
Because that's how they branded the sequel, as Part 2. They're basically doing like a retcon on the title the same way Star Wars did. Of like, when Star Wars released, they weren't episodes 4, 5, and 6. That was years later.
Yeah.
So now it's, we didn't plan a sequel in 2013, but we did one. So now when we re-release this one, it's Part 1. Mm-hmm. But, so this has been both rumored and, like, potentially leaked for, like, months now. And actually, like, I think they were purposely holding it until now, because like, they didn't show the Sony thing. But it leaked on Saturday morning. Or on Thursday morning. Mm-hmm. So, like, if you watch the actual stream, Neil Druckmann is out there to, like, announce this stuff, and is, like, legitimately not happy. Like, he's not excited about it. They actually don't even name the game properly because, like, in the little, like, back and forth, because they're literally just talking about how it leaked. And so, like, if you didn't know it leaked going in or know who Neil Druckmann is, you really would have no idea what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think they didn't announce it ahead of time because, like, it's a remake of the game. It's not like a new game. And it really is just a marketing ploy. Honestly, the shittiest part of it, it's still a full price game. It's $69.99. It's a full price PS5 game. Like, that's stupid. But let's move on. Was there anything else at Game Fest on that Game Fest list that spoke to you?
No, not quite. Pretty much everything else was
fine.
It was what it was. It was fine. Just another touch on the Marvel Midnight Suns trailer. They used fucking Master of Puppets for that. That was beautiful.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
But yeah, overall, like, going through this stuff, it looks like they had a large showing. They had a bunch of stuff to show off, but I would have been overwhelmed and not really. At the end of it, would have just been like, all right, there's just stuff.
It honestly, like, it was very quick because some of those trailers were not very long. And like, none of them were, like, big. Like, even Jeff Keighley, like, ahead of time, like, he kind of, like, sent out a tweet of, like, I'm very excited for this. Like, cause, like, he does. Like, he seems to legitimately love this sort of thing. Like, he just loves talking about and, like, revealing games. Whether they're AAA or, like, small indie. That's just, he gets excited about that. But, like, he tweeted or something, like, basically, like, temper your expectations. Like, we're not announcing, like, God of War Ragnarok release date. We're not showing a trailer. Like, he didn't say those words, but, like, it was very much like, this is a weird year. A lot of big games have been delayed already because of COVID, and we're now catching up to that, where, like, those games were delayed, so now we kind of don't have them to show. But that said, after Game Fest, there was the Day of the Devs stream. Nothing just absolutely crazy at this one. The one thing I wanted to mention is Bear and Breakfast.
Yeah.
Have you seen that one at all?
That is the bear game. It's like the sim game. Yeah, that's the word. Because
yeah, it's like Stardew Valley-ish, but yeah, it's a bear running a bed and breakfast.
Yeah, I've seen it. They've announced it forever ago or a while back.
It was announced a while back, but they showed some more, like, footage of it. I thought that there was a date for it, and it might be, like, later this summer.
It is
July 28th. And it's gonna be PC and Switch, and, like, I thought it just looked very, like, delightful.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely down my alley. Like I'm totally interested in that one.
Yeah, like, that one did look very cool. And then on Saturday afternoon, there was a Wholesome Games Direct, which, like the title says, like, it's just a bunch of kind of, like, chill indie games. Mm-hmm. There's a game coming out, so there were quite a few bear games. There's a game coming out called Lumberjack.
Okay.
Where you're a lumberjack, but you're also a bear, and you're trying to, like, take down the evil corporations that are, like, taking down the forest.
Nice.
It looked neat. And there was also, it's called Paper Animal RPG.
Okay.
And it looks like the old Mario RPG stuff. Like, almost identical to it, down to the logo. The logo is a straight ripoff of, like, Paper Mario.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, it actually looks like it could be pretty cool, and it's coming out this summer. And then there was one other one that looked super cool. Melatonin. It's kind of like an Elite Beat Agents sort of thing. So it's WarioWare mixed with a rhythm game, if you never played Elite Beat Agents. Or, I'm sorry, no. Rhythm Heaven, not Elite Beat Agents. Two different games. It's like Rhythm Heaven, which...
Okay.
So, like, think like WarioWare, but they're all rhythm-based games.
Okay.
And it's got, like, a very cool, like whimsical, psychedelic aesthetic to it. And it's just, like, a bunch of, like, neat mini-games. Like, swiping left and right on, like, what's supposed to be, like, a Tinder profile, but, like, the picture they show is, like, a poop emoji.
Mm-hmm.
There was one that I heard somebody explain, I don't think it was in the trailer, that was, you're, like, floating in a chair, and you have to time the button presses to eating donuts and pizza. So it's just, like silly little stuff, but it's all rhythm-based. And it looks like it's going to be, like, really, like a cool, relaxing game with, like, a cool sounding soundtrack.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm checking out the trailer now. It sounds pretty sweet. They also had one that was what's it called? Like Potion Craft or something like that.
Yes. That one looked neat, and there's another one called Mika and the Witch's Mountain, which is like a 3D. I don't want to call it a platformer because you're actually flying around on a broomstick the whole time, but it looks like you don't have just like total like free reign of the broomstick, like you're kind of relying on like updrafts and stuff like that to get around. But it's Kiki's Delivery Service. Like you're a witch who like had to leave their like hometown or whatever, and now you're like delivering parcels to people on this like island.
What the hell?
What?
I just saw that Spiritfarer is coming to Netflix.
That's weird.
Yeah. Spiritfarer, it's a cozy management game about dying, and it's coming to mobile for the first time on Netflix this year. So Netflix does have their gaming, because there's a couple of gaming things they have. There's going to be a Queen's Gambit game. I have no idea what Too Hot to Handle is, but there's like a couple of like they're doing like a whole Netflix gaming on mobile now, and Spiritfarer is going to be on there.
That's kind of cool actually.
Yeah.
I'm also this is not for now, but I'm sending you individually a link to the YouTube channel for Wholesome Games. If you look at the dates up to like the first if it was posted 4 days ago, up to their hour and 12-minute Wholesome Direct. Those are the trailers for all 100-ish games they showed.
Yeah.
And like there are definitely some games in here that are like up your alley for like the days where you're looking for like just like more sort of like chill, laid back stuff to play. Because that's all these things were, and some of them actually looked really, really well made. And then Devolver Digital had one of their goofy ass ones. You know Suda51?
Not maybe. I don't know.
He's a game developer. If I'm not totally fucking wrong, I'm pretty sure he is what is his studio? Grasshopper. There we go. He's Grasshopper Studio. He does the No More Hero games.
Mm-hmm.
And like Killer 7, I think on the wiki was also him. Like he kind of does like goofy games like that. Devolver had him in their video the whole time as like an AI mech, basically. Like they had like a mech built, and then he was like the face on the screen, and he was like the AI for like their direct. It was very weird, but like that same like just tongue in cheek, stupid over the top Devolver Digital thing.
Mm-hmm.
There were 2 games that they showed though that actually I thought looked super cool. One of them was Cult of the Lamb.
Okay.
It looked like one of those not top down isometric sort of style, like very cartoony graphics, like action adventure games. But you're trying to gather lambs to be in your cult. Okay. And then the other one was the Plucky Squire. I don't know if you saw the trailer for this one at all.
No, I haven't seen that one either. I'm actually currently like looking at the Cult of the Lamb trailer. They haven't that one.
So the Plucky Squire might be the coolest trailer I've seen in a very long time. I don't want to spoil it for you because I think like it'll actually be more impressive if you just watch it. But I am actually super excited for that game to come out next year. It's a like an action platformer. And it's both 2D and 3D, and just it looks like it's going to be super fun if it plays the way it looks, basically. Okay,
yeah. I'm watching it now, and so far I like what I see, but they just opened the book, so it's kind of the beginning of it. But just give it a second, because like once they kind of get like midway through, everything changes in the coolest fucking way. This is stupid. I love it. I love it so much. They did like the boxing stuff, and then he comes out of the book.
Yeah, like that is such a cool transition, like of the character walking to the edge of the book and like hopping out, and the way like it's such a really nicely rendered 3D world, and it looks like there's gameplay mixed in with that trailer that still looks just as good as what I assume is like a little in-game movie.
Mm-hmm.
And there's definitely scenes in there where you go from 3D to 2D back to 3D, kind of like a Link Between Worlds did on the 3DS.
Yeah.
Where you could like become 2D to like get around something and then go back to the 3D world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm actually very excited for that game.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. I'm interested in that one.
Yeah. But so the next actual big one would have been the Xbox one. I know you looked at a couple trailers for that. Was anything that like stood out for you?
I mean, I was excited to see some Hollow Knight Silk Song, but we didn't get a release date for that. So like, I'm a little bummed out for that. I need to watch the Plague Tale Requiem trailer because that
looks
game
fucking
was
good.
fantastic. The first one was fantastic. It was amazing. But besides that, the only other thing I really watched was the Starfield stuff, because like I've played Gunfire Reborn. I didn't need to watch that. I think I saw the last case of Benedict Fox, which looked interesting. But I really only paid a lot of attention to what's it called, to Starfield, and how absolutely let down I was with the combat.
Which, like, did you think like that was gonna like this is a legit question? Did you think that like the combat would be good in it, or did you just expect it to be a little more like the Fallout games and Skyrim and Elder Scrolls are, where like you have like magic or the VATS or whatnot?
I was hoping it was going to be better. I didn't think it was going to be amazing, but I was hoping it was going to be better than Fallout. And that's my problem. The Fallout gameplay, like, is only good because of VATS. The Fallout 3, New Vegas, and 4 and everything, the gameplay for those games are only good because of the VATS system. And without the VATS system, the gameplay just isn't really that good, because the gunplay is still behind the scenes dice roll type stuff. Damage output and accuracy is all based on dice rolls. It's not really based on your skill as a gamer.
Which is such a fucking bummer.
It is, and it is. It absolutely is. And that's why the VAT system works, because you use the VAT system to know what you're going to hit, and you hit it that way. And generally combat, it adds more strategy than just duck and cover. I was hoping to get something similar to the style of Fallout. Honestly, probably with some form of stupid VATS, but not exactly VATS. But that is so connected to Fallout that if they were to add it, then it would just be a Fallout game, and they couldn't do that. Like, overall, the game itself looks beautiful. The ship flight and potential ship combat looks good, and the fact that there's over 1,000 worlds you can visit and everything like that, like it's super interesting. But I have a feeling a lot of these worlds are going to be a whole lot of fucking nothing.
Oh yeah, because I've heard a little bit more about it. So it's 1,000 worlds. They're at least somewhat procedurally generated. And apparently you cannot free fly onto them the way you could in like No Man's Sky.
No, they said you can. You can land anywhere.
You can land anywhere, but you're not going. But like you have to just pick where you land, and it sounds like the like your ship will just land where you choose it to.
Oh, that's stupid.
Yeah, like I don't know if like I did not see gameplay, but I heard multiple outlets talking about that. So like I was thinking something similar to like Mass Effect, where like you can pick where you want to land or scan or whatever, but you're not just like flying your ship to do it. Like the game kind of like auto flies you to where you choose.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll see, because I'm sure they'll show that stuff a little bit more detailed, like as we get closer.
Yeah, hopefully. Like the customization with the ship and things like that looked really cool. And again, the game itself looks very beautiful, but like the combat was just absolutely generic, and I like it's clunky. It clunky in a bad way. Like I was already talking about how like clunkiness could be an asset in like survival horror, but in a game like this, it's not an asset. It's a detriment. 100%. This is not a survival horror. I mean, it's an RPG, so like there are RPG elements, but if you're gonna do an RPG with first person, or a first person RPG with guns and stuff like that, but not have your attack based on skill, it's not gonna be as good. Like I'm interested to see where they go with the level system and things like that. Is it going to be an action skill based system, or is it just going to be skill points, or is it going to be a combination of the two? But I was just absolutely let down when I saw the initial bits of combat in that game.
Yeah, no, and like I get that. A couple things just worth noting real quick. Diablo 4 they showed off a little bit. They showed that the Necromancer class is going to be there, and it's going to be launching Xbox, PS4, PS5, and Switch, with cross-play and cross-progression.
Oh, wow.
And I think it'll be on Game Pass, because I think every game that they showed at the Xbox thing is going to be on Game Pass.
Maybe I'll play it then. Maybe I'll play it.
For you in particular, because I know you're into it, they announced the Sea of Thieves Season 7 update.
That comes out at the end of the month. Or no, it comes out in July at some point.
Yeah, it's going to allow you to buy, name, and captain a ship of your own. Mm-hmm. And then also customize your cabin.
Yeah.
Which, like, that just seemed neat, and I know, like, you were into that game.
Yeah. We're playing it tomorrow on stream with some people, so, like,
nice.
It's a great game. The only thing that holds it back is you can only have parties of 4, and that's...
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was a little bigger.
Nope, parties of 4, and we have, a Discord of 5 people. So it's
that's a bummer.
We got to figure out, and it's hard to be able to get into the same world and everything, and I was trying to figure out a way to make it so that all 5 of us could play, but you can only have 4 people in a party, so even if there were 5 of us on, one of us wouldn't be getting rewards and quest rewards.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a bummer, and maybe at some point they'll do, like, private servers, but they don't, like, you cannot play on a private server without other people. There's always other people in a game of Sea of Thieves, or on a server of Sea of Thieves. You just have to hope you get lucky and not have anybody who comes to attack you.
Right. That I like. That's understandable. But they also they showed Forza Motorsport,
Mm-hmm.
which like it looks like a really really pretty racing game. Like that's awesome. But they also showed that they're doing another Hot Wheels DLC for Horizon 5.
Mm-hmm.
So like it adds like the crazy Hot Wheels tracks to it, which I think actually looks super neat. And what was the other? And they're adding the Halo Pelican, like the big like carrier planes, to Flight Simulator.
I want to download Flight Simulator.
Dude, it's worth it.
Try it out. I know it's freaking huge and very taxing on your system, but one of these days, sometime before the end of my 32-day streams, I will download and play Flight Simulator on stream.
So and it's part of Game Pass. What I recommend you do, because it is very big, and it's one of those, the game install's not big. You have to launch the game to download the update. It's one of those shitty things.
Yeah.
When you're done your stream tonight, download the Xbox, download it to your Game Pass, launch it, and click download so that overnight it'll start downloading the 150 gigs of game that it needs.
I'm not playing it like this. Probably not this weekend. I think this weekend I might do. I might build Legos on Saturday.
Okay, but
yeah,
whenever you're gonna do it, basically the day before, download it to Game Pass and then launch it so that it'll start downloading the update. It's super cool, and I actually think that could actually be an interesting stream. If you go into it blind, because it's actually really hard to get the plane to take off and land successfully your first couple of times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I know there's a lot of people who take those games very seriously. There's servers where you need to get flight clearance and shit like that before you can take off and land. It's very RPG-esque on some of those servers.
So the game actually in this there's no servers in this. You're just there, but you can pay for a service that you will get legitimate people doing air traffic control for you.
Mm-hmm.
Which is actually kind of cool. So, if you're actually trying to, get your pilot's license, you can do that sort of thing so that it's as close to, a legitimate experience as possible.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. They showed Redfall. That game looks fine. There was something else that, I wanted to mention, though, that was actually kind of neat.
There was a Fallout 76 trailer, which I wish... I got my money's worth, because I only spent, $10 on it, and I played for, maybe 10 plus hours, but I wish I got more into Fallout 76, because that was, with all the updates they did, it was a solid game.
At least they kind of redeemed that one as much as they could. As Dusk Falls, this does not necessarily look like a good game. Later on, please don't watch it now. Watch the trailer for this and just let me know if it gives you a little bit of motion sickness, because the way that this game is animated gave me fucking motion sickness.
Okay.
Where the fuck? Sorry, they had so many games at the Microsoft thing.
There was.
There it is. So
an ESO update. There was what else? Oh, Grounded. We actually get a 1.0 announcement for September,
finally.
Which is finally.
Hideo Kojima is making an Xbox game.
Mm-hmm.
His thing was the best. There was no game. It was just a video of him, and it opens with, "Hi, this is Hideo Kojima," and like he says that this is a game that he always wanted to make, which I want, and like mentions like leveraging like the Microsoft Cloud and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's finally going to try and make that game that he always talked about, the one that he wanted to make that game that would self-destruct in your system.
What do you mean? I don't
like,
think I know this one.
He wanted to make a game that if you died, like it was done. Like the game would no longer work.
Oh, that's rough. That is rough.
But he's also the guy that made the game that you needed to play in the sunlight.
Yeah,
on the Game Boy.
That game was great. That game was amazing.
I can't remember what it was called.
Boktai?
That's it. Boktai, yeah.
Yeah. There was like two of them as well. I had one. I had the first one. And I played a little bit of it, but you had to play in the sunlight. So like I would try to sit at a spot that got sunlight a lot of it, but like no, it would tell if you weren't actually outdoors, and you needed to sometimes go directly outdoors to get the charge. I never actually gotten to like make it through much of the game, but I did have it.
Yeah, it's like I kind of said this about Death Stranding when I tried that one out. What was that, in 2019 when that when that game came out? Like Kojima comes up with some incredible ideas, but like he needs somebody just kind of like restraining him just a little bit, because like when he's not restrained, you get fucking Death Stranding, which is just a little too crazy. But like when he has like a publisher that's kind of like, all right, well, how about we like reel this in a little bit? You get cool stuff like Metal Gear, like Boktai, like Zone of the Enders, like where like cool concepts, like taking games into like different directions. Really big one for me: Persona 3 Portable, Persona 4 Golden, and Persona 5 Royal all go into Game Pass.
Mm-hmm. I'll actually probably play the Persona games again now that they're on Game Pass.
I don't know if they're going to PC Game Pass.
Whatever.
So it says Persona games are coming to Xbox. And I do not remember if it mentioned PC in there at all or not. But I've never played Persona 3. I own it twice. I own the PS2 version of it. I think it's Fez. Like, I don't think I have the original one. But like, I have Fez, and then I have a version of it for the PSP or Vita or something like that. Which might be portable actually. But I will probably actually play that on Xbox, like when it releases. That one releases next year. I think they're going in reverse chronological order. So Persona 5 Royal comes out in October, and then I want to say 4 Golden comes out early 2023, and 3 Portable comes out a little bit after that.
Yeah. So they will be releasing them on PC, on Steam, and the Windows Game Store.
Oh, nice.
So maybe it'll be PC Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate, but
I mean, hopefully, because I think Persona 4 Golden is on Steam.
Yeah, 4 Golden is already on Steam.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, so that was the Microsoft Bethesda. At least the stuff that was worth talking about. The last thing, and actually, like, I think there's only one game I wanted to mention out of this. The PC Game Show was very long. It had a lot of stuff that like didn't really appeal to me. Also, I was wrong. Fuck. Why did that just happen? So remember when we were talking about the Game Fest one, I thought that game that listed, Troy Baker was the one where the guy had clones.
Okay.
That is not the case. It looks like that game is called The Alters. That makes sense. The Alters, because they're alternate versions of the person. I don't know what the game is actually supposed to be about, but like graphically it looks really good, and like I'm super interested to see like what this actually ends up being.
I think what the game is about is have you ever heard of the movie Duplicity with Rob Schneider?
No, but I've heard of Multiplicity with Michael Keaton.
I don't think they're the same thing. But in Duplicity, Rob Schneider has a way to like clone himself, and then really random crazy antics happen. So I think that's probably what this game is. So silly antics happen when you clone yourself.
Funny enough, Multiplicity, Michael Keaton, a man able to duplicate himself by machine. Each duplicate developing a different personality, causing problems.
What if these are the same movies we're thinking about and one of us is wrong?
I just looked mine up, so I know I'm right, but let's look Rob Schneider, filmography. What was the one called that you said?
So I just looked up Duplicity 2009, and it's a Clive Owen movie. So that's probably not it. I think it was Rob Schneider.
Yeah, I don't know. But like what you just described very much sounds like Multiplicity with Michael Keaton.
I mean, maybe it was. I don't know. I thought it was supposed to be a comedy.
No, like Multiplicity is a comedy. It's Michael Keaton.
Then probably that's what it is then.
Yeah, so
it's the 96 movie, so like I think Rob Schneider's oh no, it's Michael Keaton, but I guess for some reason he reminds me of Rob Schneider back in the 90s.
That's weird. That's fucking Batman. Come on now. But yeah, it's weird. I think like our generation in particular, when we think of Michael Keaton, you think of Batman, and now like he was the villain in Spider-Man and stuff like that. But like in the 80s and 90s, he was a fucking comedy actor.
Yeah.
Like he's fucking Beetlejuice.
Look, if you get an image of Michael Keaton and from Multiplicity and an image of Rob Schneider from just back in the day, like they kind of look the same. They kind of have similar. Like I'll send it on Facebook.
All right.
I'll send it to you later. But it's just like they kind of look the same because of the old horrible TVs we had.
Yeah, look, I mean, like, I'm not saying that, like, you're not wrong, but you're wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, this Alters game, actually, like, I'm interested to see what it is. I think it's only PC, which is actually a huge bummer for me, but, like, it looks interesting. But the other thing, like, the thing that I actually saw at this that looked right up my alley, I just can't fucking find. There it is. I had to search for it. So there's a game coming out next year called Demon School. One word. Demon School, one word. It looks like an old turn-based RPG, very much in like Persona 1 and 2 style, like combat.
Mm-hmm.
And I am very interested to see what this is. And I really hope that it's a game that isn't locked on PC. Like I hope it comes to like Xbox or Switch or something.
Yeah.
Cause like I would actually play a ton of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like for you, like that PC game show was very long, but I think like it's worth at the very least scrolling through a list of the trailers and checking some of them out. Because I think some of those games would probably appeal to you. And while they're very well done games from like the look of it, I don't know that they're necessarily games that like would be on your radar necessarily.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going through the little article that you have, and some of them just a basic overview, like Endless Dungeon sounds interesting. And yeah, I'm going to get Potion Craft. That's the one. It's like a sim, like Stardew game where you make potions, and it's an RPG-esque style, like open world type game. It's really neat.
Yeah, that one was at the Wholesome Direct too, and it did actually look like it would be kind of cool.
Yeah. And then there's System Shock. So that's getting that remaster or whatever.
I think that's actually a full remake reboot. Like it looks like a new fucking game.
Yeah. But that's deserving because it's been like since the fucking 90s that game came out.
Yeah, that is that was a very long time ago. No, like System Shock was the 90s.
Okay, so it was the 90s. But then if you have nothing else for the PC game show, there was one other that I watched, and it was the Capcom Showcase.
Oh, I forgot about that. I did watch that.
Yeah. And that one, they started with Monster Hunter, which is what everyone was watching for, because Sunbreak comes out on the 30th. And so they were finally announcing some more new monsters, which, this doesn't really matter to you. It's not going to make a difference to you, but for like some of us that are like looking forward to it, they're showing off, or they're adding Espinas, which that has only ever been in the Monster Hunter MMO called Monster Hunter Frontier that never came out in the States. So like people are going crazy over that. Gore Magala, which was one of the major bosses from Monster Hunter Generations, which also means we're going to get Shangaroo Magala, which is like the evolved form. So Gore Magala is covered in the darkness, and Shangaroo is all light and golden. They also are showcased a new map that we're getting. Some other new monsters. We're getting a free update in August, and then quarterly updates after that. Like, it looks like they are supporting this almost to the same extent they supported World. which is making a lot of us super excited. And I'm pumped for it. What they showed is great. The demo went live last night at midnight / this morning at midnight, whatever. I don't know if I'm going to bother getting it, just because I know I'm going to get the game, and I don't want to bore myself fighting some of these harder monsters now when I'm going to be fighting them in 2 weeks or more.
Which, like, that totally makes sense. Like that thing is definitely there for people that, like, maybe didn't get Rise because Rise didn't have the best showing at launch.
Well, it's there to show off the new stuff. So they're adding a new battle mechanic, which is the switch ability, where you can they have skills called switch skills, which you can set up, like, it's either A or B basically, and it dependent on which one you have, whatever button combination will do a different thing. So one of your wire bug abilities can be different. One of your normal attacks can be different. One of your secondary attacks can be different, essentially. And it's like, it'll be the same button combination to do one of the two, but you can only have one of the two equipped. And so they're incorporating a way to actually switch them out into the other one on the fly in a match or in a fight, which is really cool. Like, this monster isn't very suited for this switch skill. Let me pop out and use this one instead. So you just go ahead and do the ability to switch to a new one. They're also adding a bunch more switch skills as well, and new mechanics for all the weapons and things like that. It's a big, huge update, and they're supposed to be supporting it at least for the next year or so. Hopefully more. At least until we get Monster Hunter World 2 or whatever we're going to get next. Okay.
And, like, I'm glad you're excited for it. I watched that, and, like, I was super bummed that they spent so much time on it.
It was the big thing. It was the thing that, like, because it comes out in less than 2 weeks. That's what people were watching for, was for Monster Hunter. Like, they spent some time talking about the DLC for Resident Evil Village, which I haven't played Village yet, so that kind of, like, spoils a little bit of Village. But again, I don't really care too much about that, because again, it's my fault for not playing it at this point. And they added, like, you can play as Lady Dimitrescu in Mercenaries now, which is silly.
I did see that,
and they're also adding a third-person mode for Resident Evil Village.
Yeah, and so like they showed
it in third person.
They showed at the Sony thing that they're also adding VR to Resident Evil 8.
Yeah.
And, like, I thought that DLC actually looked like it could be kind of interesting.
Yeah, I'm glad I haven't gotten Resident Evil 8, because it's been on sale a lot. Like, there's been times where it's been on sale, went off sale, and then, like, a week or two later went back on sale. So I'm glad I haven't gotten it, because I know there will be, like, a definitive edition or something that'll go on sale by the time I do get it, that'll have all the DLC.
Yeah, and, like, the idea of, like, playing in that world, like, 20 years later with, like, Ethan's daughter, who is now, like, a teenager or adult, just seems very interesting.
The funny, I think it was 15 years later or something like that, or what is the actual time frame?
I don't remember if they said it or not, but it's not in the description that I can see.
They said it somewhere, but, like, it is, like, 15 to 20 years later or something like that. That's, like, if everything still lines up, I'd have to check the timeline. That's maybe, like, 2025.
Right, because a lot of these games are technically still taking place in the past for us.
The first 4 Resident Evil games took place before 2000.
I thought, like, Resident Evil 4 took place in, like, 2001 or something like that.
Like, Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3 was, like, 92 or 93.
So, because those 3 games all take place within, like, a couple months of each other.
And then I think it was, like, 5 or 6 years after Resident Evil 3 is when Resident Evil 4 takes place, so it might be early 2000s. We could just look this up.
I'm actually looking it up right now. So Resident Evil 1 takes place in 98. It's July. It's 2 days in July in 98. And then Resident Evil 2 and 3 are in September of 98. Because they happen almost, like, at the same time. Like, they bits of them overlap with each other. And, like, you can skip, like, Code Veronica and stuff like that. So, Resident Evil 4 does take place in 2004. So it's, like, several years later.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, most of these games do take place, like, relatively recently. It looks like Resident Evil 6 is 2012.
I think 8 was 2021. I saw though.
Oh yeah, so it looks like 7 and 8 must have like reset the time, or not reset the timeline, but just like jumped it up to like present day, so to speak.
7 was 2017, 8 was 2020, 2021, and the DLC is supposed to be like 15 years after. So it's like it's the first game that's in the future, which is wild.
That is actually really funny when you think about it like that. That Capcom thing though, they showed more of that Exoprimal game, which both looks interesting and stupid.
Bro, I was saying to Evan and a handful of other people, not only does it look really fun and great, but it also looks absolutely fucking generic as all hell. Like somehow they pull off both awesome and generic at the same time.
Yeah, like it is 100% a game where like if it came to Game Pass, I would download it and check it out. But like I don't think I would spend actual money on it.
I will wait for it to go on a great sale or Game Pass. I'm not look, I want it. I do. I want it to be good. I want Dino Crisis Mech to be really good. But at the same time, like it looks very, very basic. The combat looked basic and generic, but it also looked really fun. And like it looks like the fighting dinosaurs is just going to be hack and slash, but then there are some strategic, like, fighting against other exosuit people that might make it a little bit more interesting and entertaining. And, like, it rides that fine line of just both weird, super Capcom-y, and generic, but also fun. And it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and then they also, this was the silliest one, they teased that they're going to have a 10th anniversary Dragon's Dogma thing later this week, which I think is tomorrow.
Yeah, it's tomorrow on the 16th, or today if you're listening to this, the day it released. It's silly. But like Dragon's Dogma, they've been teasing stuff for Dragon's Dogma, and fans of the series have been wanting a sequel to the game for the longest time. I played it back, what was it, in 2020? Maybe in 2021, and I wasn't too thrilled with it, but it was one of those games that, like, I mean, it's 10 years old, but it didn't really age well. And it's like, if it were, it had a lot of old school RPG elements that just don't work anymore. Like, you need to pay for fast travel, and there isn't any preset fast travel. You actually need to set up fast travel points yourself. Yeah. That was my biggest gripe. And then it was also very, like, Soulsborne-esque, where, like, if you die, like, it's very strategic combat, and, like, it was interesting. It was fun. But, like, I didn't care too much to play it because of how old it was.
Which, like, makes sense, and that's kind of, I've always kind of heard that about the game, like, it's a really good game for, like, its time, but it could definitely use, like, either a sequel or, like, a refresh to sort of just get it up to date with, like, modern standards. But I just thought, like, it's one of those, like, it's a little bit niche as far as, like, the fan base goes, but it still does have, like, a pretty dedicated fan base.
It does.
And people have been clamoring for, like, a sequel for a decade, and they're just like, oh yeah, later this week, we're gonna have a special event for the 10th anniversary. And it's like, really? Really?
Yeah. It was like the dumbest thing that they could do was like, oh yeah, we'll get back to this eventually. Like, oh, just do it now. Like, just do it now. Why? Just do it now. We're here. Just do it. It was dumb.
Yeah, like, I agree. But that is what it is. I think that is like all the events though.
Yeah, like that was it. Yeah, I think that was about it. We covered most of it. It was all just a bunch of different trailers, of course, and not too much big, like, major announcements, like he said. And it was fine. It was a fine event. It was just, again, it's a lot to happen, and it's kind of how I felt with E3 as well. Like, it's a lot that happens all in one small time frame, and it feels like everyone's competing with each other, and it kind of hurts it for me. It does.
Which, like, I understand. I do I always enjoy, like for us, like, we were never going to E3, so, like, the weekday part of that thing, like, didn't really impact us. But I always did enjoy watching the press conferences. Like, there was just something about them when they were good, they were really good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And like, these things were like, it was cool seeing the stuff. And I definitely prefer what most of these were compared to like the Sony State of Plays, which are just super generic and kind of like boring.
That's the thing. Like they would put like, and they did a little bit with this Summer Games Fest. It's like they would put production value behind it. They would actually put money into it. They would do things and make this stuff exciting, because in the end, we're just a bunch of fucking nerds watching video game trailers. And like, you gotta make that exciting and entertaining. But like, the State of Plays just aren't that anymore. Even the directs, which they're fine, like, they're also not that anymore. Like, they're not entertaining. They're more info dumps like a lot of times.
Yeah, I still think like Nintendo's best directs were always the E3 directs, because they were the bigger ones. There was a little more production value to them.
Yeah.
At the time, like when those were at their best were when like Iwata was still alive and Reggie was involved, and like they just seemed like they were having fun with those ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I know like when Reggie released his book last month, he did a whole bunch of podcast interviews, and like that came up a couple times that like he thought those were some of the best ones too, where like they kind of just got to have fun with the directs.
Yeah.
But like I agree, like the last like especially like over COVID, like they have been very just kind of like vanilla. But I still say the Nintendo Directs are a little more charming than what the fuck is it called? Than the Sony State of Plays are. Like, there's just a little more like warmth and character to them than the Sony State of Plays just feels so sterilized.
Yeah, for sure.
And at least most of these showcases, like Game Fest, like Keighley was on like a soundstage. There were other people that he was talking to. Like, that was a real thing. Have you seen the Rock video from that by chance?
No. I think I heard something about it, but I didn't actually see it.
All right, holy shit! So I need to talk about this real quick. I just need to make a quick timestamp. So at one point in this video, in the Game Fest stream, I should say, they cut to a pre-recorded message from The Rock, who is like in his gym, like no shirt, like is definitely in the middle of a workout, recording this on his cell phone, and it is the most. I am not getting paid to do this, so I am plugging all of my own shit while I'm doing this. Like, he plugged his appearance in Fortnite. He plugged his energy drink like 4 fucking times. And then like they rolled into a Black Adam trailer.
Okay.
And like I saw a tweet afterwards where somebody was like, as somebody who has booked The Rock before, whoever did this one, they didn't book The Rock on his press day. Which is why it was so, like, kind of, like, janky. But, like, you could tell, like, he did one take of it and, like, was just too busy. Like, it was definitely a thing where, like, it was not, like, when he was supposed to do that. Like, somebody put it on his calendar on the wrong day, and he's like, well, shit, like, what am I supposed to say? All right, well, I got time for one take because I have, like, 6 workouts to do and then 12 hours of meetings.
Yeah, I mean, 90% of that guy's day is working out. He needs to keep the muscles in order to keep his job, which is unfortunate, but... Like, yeah, he has to. He can't just like squeeze some 2-hour shoot in if it's not press day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it was, it was The Rock, so like it was a big get for that stream, but it felt so out of place and like product-y because like he was like the whole time he's like holding up the can of Zoa Energy, his like energy drink, and he's just like, yeah, man, I'm gonna go drink some more Zoa now and finish my workout.
Nice.
But yeah, that was fucking something. But I did like the fact that like Xbox and Game Fest and even like the Wholesome Game Show and Devolver, like there were people involved with it. It wasn't just like a disembodied voice leading into another trailer with like no color between it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Is there anything else you want to talk about, or you want to wrap up for this week?
I mean, you mentioned Black Adam. Which brings just a bad subject. Just like we don't need to cover it too much, but we talked about it a little bit on Facebook or on the chat. But like all this shit going on with Ezra Miller now, fuck that person so much. I hate Ezra Miller.
Yeah, and like I know, like, a lot of it is, like, we don't really know what's going on. Like, there's no confirmed stuff, but, like, the reports are so fucking wild that, like, even if it's only half true, half of it is still just as bad. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like
they, right now, from what we're reading, courts cannot find them to serve them basically a restraining order from the parents of somebody that they have kidnapped and have been grooming. And this person is underage. And it's just so, like...
And they apparently provided alcohol, marijuana, and LSD to them?
Yeah. And it's just like, oh my god, like, we mentioned it at one point, and we usually don't talk about the bad shit on here, but sometimes bad shit just, like, it kind of needs to be mentioned that, like, Ezra Miller is not a role model. And I've said this before, that especially if you're going to be an actor, and especially an actor of, like, a superhero or a superhero-esque thing, something kids are going to see, you need to act in that way. You need to act in a role model way. And Ezra Miller does not deserve to be Barry Allen, does not deserve to be the Flash. And it's so, like, they've not acted in a good sense since pre-Justice League. And, like, they're just, it pisses me off. It really does. Because, like, it kind of tarnishes the name of Barry Allen, because when people think of the DC universe and they think of the Flash, they're going to think of Ezra Miller and all the bullshit that they've done.
Yeah, like, I don't disagree with that. And like I was kind of saying in the chat, like, I wonder if DC doesn't actually either indefinitely delay or cancel releasing the Flash movie with all of this, or recast Miller, so that, like, Barry is just essentially played by somebody else, and that he's not being portrayed by somebody with, like, a very bad public image. Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's already bad enough that we've got Letitia Wright still in Black Panther.
But you know what? Like, and I'm not totally disagreeing with you. Being, like, anti-vax and being, like, just an asshole about that stuff. That's one thing. Like, that just makes you shitty. And shitty when it comes to other people's, like, health and safety. But, like, also, like, there's a lot of people like that. This is something entirely different. Like, this is actual criminal activity, not just that person being kind of a shitty person.
Yeah. Like, this is toxic. This is not good. And like, I've gone on record saying that, like, Ezra Miller is a very toxic person. Like, anytime we've brought them up, this is just toxicity. And, like, you can't use, like, your anxiety as a reason to be a bad person.
Exactly.
And they're 100% a bad person. And I just, like, you brought up Black Adam. I was like, oh shit, maybe we should acknowledge that right now, because that's kind of a big thing going on in Nerddom, because pretty sure Flashpoint is supposed to be one of the next few movies that comes out with DC.
I thought it got kicked to next year. Let's see. Oh, fuck you, movie being called Flashpoint. Like, there's another movie called Flashpoint.
Of course there is. Of course, 100%.
Yeah, so The Flash got pushed to June of next year.
Okay. Which is still, like, there's not much between that. Maybe one or two other movies. I don't really know what's on the slate for DC right now.
So Black Adam and Aquaman are both this year.
Okay. Yeah, so...
And I think Shazam and Flash were next year. But, yeah, like, I wouldn't be entirely surprised, because this movie is supposed to, like, be bringing in other characters they're going to use in different places. I wouldn't be totally surprised if they did, like, delay it again, but recast, Miller and just reshot his scenes. And then, or reshot as many of his scenes as possible, and then cut the movie so that he as in Barry, was just never in frame with anybody else, so that, like, they don't have to bring in all the other actors to refilm their scenes.
They did that in, what was that zombie movie that came out on Netflix last year?
Oh, that's right, yeah, the Army of the Dead, the Zack Snyder one. Yeah, one of the people ended up being shitty.
Tig Notaro, who played the helicopter pilot, she was a recast because the original actor who was in that spot, who's also a musician, and I can't remember who they were. I think they're a musician. Was doing pretty much a lot of what Ezra Miller was doing, grooming young like underage kids and preying on them and whatnot, and shit like that. And so they fired that guy, hired Tig Notaro, and that's why 90% of the scenes that Tig was in, she was not in a scene with somebody else.
Yeah, and like I actually brought up the Wikipedia real quick. It says she was added into the film through CGI after replacing Chris D'Elia, who is a stand-up comedian.
Stand-up comedian, not okay. Yeah. Well, it's not music.
Yeah, so that's like it wouldn't be completely unheard of for them to do something like that.
Yeah. But I think that's mostly a show. We can go into other things, but we've ran long on Summer Games Fest. We're running close to 2 hours.
We're at an hour 40. But yeah, I think we can wrap up here.
Yeah, we can get into the other things we did next week, because most likely there's not going to be a lot of news over the next week. So I have more to talk about then.
Actually, this is super quick. It's just very funny. Just because we were talking about the superhero stuff. So I saw like a little interview clip with I cannot remember her name. It's the actress that is playing Miss Marvel on the Disney Plus show.
Shit. What is her name? I can't remember her name, but continue and I'll find it.
But so she was doing like a little interview thing, and they asked if she could name all of the MCU movies.
Mm-hmm. Iman Vellani.
Thank you. So she named every movie, and then got to the end. She's like, I'm missing one, and I don't know what it is. I should have done it in chronological order. And you can hear the person like that asked her kind of snickering, and she forgot Captain Marvel of all of them. And then
that's great.
Like they told her that, and like she just started laughing. She's like, "Oops."
That's
like,
amazing.
She's in the sequel.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love it. Have you watched the first episode of the series? I haven't watched. I mean, the second one came out today, so obviously you didn't watch the second one. But did you watch the first one?
I have not started that yet. I'm gonna try. Probably not tomorrow, but probably Friday. I'm gonna watch the most recent episode of Obi-Wan, and then I'm gonna try and watch the 2 episodes of Miss Marvel.
I only have seen the first 2 episodes of Obi-Wan, so I'm just gonna wait for for next week, because next week is the finale, and I'll watch them all at once after next week.
That makes sense. I've been trying to, like, work has been so busy that I don't have as much time to like just have things playing and pay attention. So I've been trying to actually keep up with that stuff as best as I can. So like I watched the last 2 episodes last week, and then I'll try and watch this episode this week.
Yeah, my lunch breaks, usually I watch those episodes on lunch breaks, but last week I watched Miss Marvel, and then this week I haven't had a lot of time to watch stuff over my lunch breaks. I've been going out or running errands.
Yeah, I don't really I don't take a lunch break. I just stop working early because I'd rather just be done work early, and like I don't have to take a lunch break. Like as long as I'm not open in the afternoon, where like I'm supposed to be available for like escalations. If I'm booked all day, I can kind of start and stop when I want, as long as I do the allotted time for whatever the task is.
Yeah, but I'll say I absolutely loved that first episode of Miss Marvel.
I've heard a lot of people say that,
and like the way the filming style that they did, the scripting, the acting was all really good, and I just love what they did with like the graphics of certain scenes, like. And this isn't spoilery or anything, but like they're riding through Jersey City on like their bikes or whatever, talking, and it's her and her friend. I guess his name is Bruno. They're just talking about things, and like in the background, it's what they're talking about being animated, like kind of like kid sketched and cartoony, but also comic booky, like on the walls. And I was just like, this is fucking beautiful. I love it so much. It's so great how they're doing it.
Yeah, I'm excited to like check it out and see what they're doing with it. Cause like that character is actually just like, it's a very good character and a very good like cast, like in the comic, like the characters in the comic are very good. Like both Miss Marvel herself, her family members, her friends, like it's just a very fun cast of characters. So like I'm excited to see how they bring that to live action.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess we will get it wrapped up now. Sorry, I lost track of thought.
We'll wrap it up here. And next week, you guys can look forward to Cobb talking about Fruitus Basket. Fruits Basket. 2019.
Fruitus?
Is it Fruits Basket or is it Fruitus Basket? Like, what is it?
It's Fruits.
It
Fruits
is Fruits,
Basket.
because I could have swore there was always an extra I or something somewhere. But whatever. Cobb, you'll be talking about Fruits Basket next week. I'll be talking about Jurassic World Evolution 2, and I'll probably actually go see the new movie this weekend. So I might have that to talk about. And then we'll also have the Truman Show for our book club.
Yeah, that's actually, I was about to say that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, if you would like to find more of our content, you can head over to www.one-quest.com. You can also help us out by supporting us at patreon.com/onequest. If you can't support us there with your dollars, though, you can go to your favorite podcasting platform, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, all those important places. Rate us, review us, subscribe to us. Those things all help a whole bunch. You can also find us on social media. We are facebook.com/onequestonline or at @1_quest on Instagram and Twitter. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/onequestvideo. And you can always send us an email to social@one-quest.com. And then, Rich, what's your Twitch channel?
Twitch.tv/B_walnuts.
And this psycho will be on there streaming every day for the next 28 days?
Something like that, yeah. Come check it out. I have new channel point rewards that coincide with my both Twitter and Instagram postings. That if you can guess the theme of that week's Funko Pops, I usually post 3 to 4 Funko Pops a week. If you can guess the theme of that week's Funko Pops, you will win an Amazon gift card, dependent on how many Funko Pops it took for you to guess it. So basically, if you can guess it on the first day, you get 20. Second day, or second pop, you get 15. Third or fourth pop, you get 10. That's this way. It's the easier it is, you get one guess per stream. But it's every stream I am in, so even if I don't post a pop, you can come in and try and guess that theme. You can really come check it out. It's a fun little game/giveaway that I've got going with that.
Well, that's a cool idea.
Right. I came up with it. I was like, you know what? I should do this because I have 100 fucking Funko Pops. I can make different themes, and the themes are going to be as like it could just be they're all Marvel heroes, or they're all wearing green, or they're all dead, or something like that. So it's not just, it could even be like, I don't want to give too much away with what the other things I have like ideas of, but some of them could be very monotonous, or not monotonous, very, very pedantic, based on what they are, what they're from, and what the connection could be.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And yeah, like it's a cool idea.
Thanks. I thought so too.
Like, good job having a cool idea.
Promotions.
And yeah, so with that, we will be back next week with something else to talk about. Thanks for listening. Bye.
See yas.